The world as we know it has changed forever. We have to unite more than ever. It has never been easier to connect. Social media is the great equalizer. As we continue to learn from each other, it allows us to challenge our beliefs, turn our fears into action. How far can we go? It's up to us. We have to conquer our fears, crush mediocrity, stay motivated, dream big. If your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. In the think tank, we will never settle for anything less than an extraordinary life. Hi, Jay. How are you today?
I'm doing always good. You know that, Martin. But the only way to be at 77 years of age is feeling good.
Feeling good. I love. I love. I mean, you got all dressed up just for the think tank, man.
You got it. You got it. I'm out of my t-shirts.
I know. And no cap today. And no cap. You know.
No, I did my hair so it's slicked back. So I'm also no cap, just nice shirt. I'm ready for you. Anything you want to put forward, I'm here for you.
That's what it is, my buddy. I mean, you and I have become buddies and pals through Toastmasters, and I appreciate you. You know.
Well, Toastmasters to me is a joy. I mean, I'm not looking to expand my knowledge as far as the Toastmaster Awards. I'm there to help new people get started.
Good.
And that's important. If you have somebody in the club that wants to be there just to help the new people,
right,
get them started and let them start winning the awards. I've won all the awards I need to have.
That's wonderful. Yeah, man, we appreciate you. Man. Trust me. We know you relied on me when you were president, and I'm relying on you when I'm president, and the new year. So it's all about collaboration and try to help and give value to other people.
That's the whole thing, is caring about the other person.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. How long have you been in Toastmasters?
I've been Toastmasters about 5 years this time, but I was in Toastmasters 30 years ago.
Wow.
But it was a totally different Toastmasters back then.
Yeah? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was totally different. It did not have the national involvement. It was basically, small clubs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in it for about 3 or 4 years and just practicing my speaking.
Right.
I made my living using my mouth.
I know you were a comedian, right?
I was a comedian for 10 years. I tried that route. Then I made a mistake. I got married. And unfortunately, the wife at that time did not want me to be a comedian. She wanted me to get a real job.
A regular job.
Regular job. So I went ahead and got involved in retailing. And I spent the next, 30 years in retailing. I was a store manager for Bloomingdale's at the end of my tenure.
Right.
Then I decided I needed to go and work for myself.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You got to pardon my dog. It's just
that's all right. That's part of life, man. That's part of life. Don't worry about it. We love these little guys. I love these little guys, you know.
But I started in retailing and I worked my way up to a store manager. Mm-hmm. And then I went ahead from there and decided it was time that I did my own thing. Mm-hmm. So I went ahead and opened up Furnari and Associates, which was a training company. Mm-hmm. I did training and motivational speaking. Wonderful. Until I retired about 7, 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. And now I'm just enjoying life, sitting back, watching my television. Judge Judy and I have become good friends, I'm telling you.
Yes, Judge Judy. Yes, indeed. Yeah, and that's great, man, you know. But let me say, several years ago, you had, life has its ups and downs, its perils, its good and bad. And you had, you experienced something which very few people in this world experience, but sadly some do. And that was, you contemplated suicide, right?
Yes, I did. More than contemplated. I took the pills.
You actually took the pills.
I took the pills.
Wow.
And fortunately enough, I didn't have enough pills to kill me, just enough to send me to a hospital.
Wow.
And at that time, I was about 32 years old. Mm-hmm. And not understanding why it happened, not understanding anything about the whole world of emotions and caring and suicide and everything. And basically, just to give you the reason that it happened, or a reason that it happened, is I was not feeling good about myself.
Right.
I had just come through my second back surgery in a year, and I lost my business at that time. So I was feeling pretty down on myself. And I called my wife at that time, who's no longer my wife, and I asked her to please come home because I was feeling real bad. And she said that she couldn't leave work at that time. She'll be home at normal time for me to sit tight. Well, that gave me that feeling of that I'm not okay and she's not okay, because she wouldn't come home and help me out. So I went ahead and I took the pills. So it's been a lifetime of learning, Martin, of why I did that and what the reason is. We know that right now in the United States and the world, suicide is growing.
Big time.
Suicide is growing in the veterans that come home. Suicide is rising in young teenagers and the people into their 20s. Suicide is happening now because of this COVID. People are scared and they don't know what to do, and they just, especially if they're alone. Suicide is an easy way out. And one of the things that we don't realize is a lot of times we call suicide an accidental death, and it's not accidental. When somebody runs their car into a tree, that's done by choice.
Right.
So that's, they're choosing to end their life. And I found out that the key to it, and I want to go back with a quick story, Martin. I know you've heard the story before, but I worked for about six or 8 months in a mental institution using my psychology degree.
Right.
And I met a young girl in the emergency department. She was brought in by the police, and she was committed suicide. She had cut her wrists. Well, I had to do the intake that night. I went down to the emergency room and got her name and all of that kind of stuff. And then one of the questions on the intake form was, why did you try to kill yourself? And she said, and looked right at me and said, nobody gives a damn if I live or if I die.
Wow.
Martin, that started it all for me right there. Because there is no person in this world that shouldn't feel that way, that nobody cares.
Right.
We've got to start caring about everybody, Martin. We've got to start caring about the people around us, about the people in our family, about the people in our community, about the people in this world. We've got to start caring about them, Martin, because if we don't, they're going to make that choice that nobody gives a damn if they live or die. Now, what's interesting is I got to meet her parents a few weeks later, and I told them that that's what the reason she gave me was. And it was interesting, Martin, because her parents say, we love her so much. I said, well, why didn't you tell her? Why didn't you let her know that? People do not commit suicide on a whim.
No.
It's something that's thought out. It's something that's designed. It's studied how to do it. And if you see somebody that's in a mood that's saying to you that they don't like themselves, it's time for you to step in. It's time for you to start saying, hey, we love you.
Right.
We care about you. We care about what you're doing in this world. We care about who you want to be. We care about you.
Right.
That's important, Martin. We have to start treating people like that. So we can go ahead and end this world of suicide and personal tragedies that people are putting themselves into.
Right. Yeah, there is in the veteran community, I think something like 22 veterans a day, if I'm not mistaken. I read that, yeah. So there are 22 veterans a day through all forms of the armed forces, the Marines, the Army, the 22 a day.
Yeah, the biggest problem with those are veterans who are who are taking their own lives is that they don't think it's man enough to talk about it.
Right.
They think because they're big, tough soldiers and they're
Mhm.
big, tough men, and
Right.
what are they going to do? Talk about it. And I say to everybody who can hear this broadcast today,
Mhm.
if you don't feel well, if you don't emotionally or mentally feel well, it's not weakness to talk to somebody.
Right.
I speak about this all the time. People say to me, why do you tell people you once tried to commit suicide? I said, why not?
Mhm. Mhm.
Why not let them know that I understand their problems?
Right.
When they're saying that they don't feel good about themselves, I know what that feels like. And
Right.
that's why I let people know that I'm always available. Anytime, any place, I'm available for somebody who feels that way to pick up a phone and call me
Mhm.
and say, hey, Jay, I'm not feeling
I'm
good
not
about me
okay.
today.
I'm not okay today. Right.
Not okay. And then what you basically say to them is really simple. What is it that you need from me today? Tell me what you need from me today.
Right.
And many times they'll just tell me, Jay, just tell me I'm okay.
Wow.
Tell me I'm important in this world.
Mhm.
And I tell them, if that's what they need to hear, that's what I tell them.
Mhm.
But they know that hearing it from me, they're not hearing it from somebody who's just saying the words, but really means it.
Right. Right.
It's a big difference, Martin. It's a big difference to say something because you just want to say the words or
Right.
say something because you generally care. And I care, Martin. I care so much. There's some days that I see the statistics going up on suicide,
Mhm.
especially in the young people. It's
Yep.
going up so fast. And it's just because, let me just take it back one step.
Right.
There's a kid in the house who's thinking about committing suicide. And mom and dad are both working. They come home from work,
Mhm.
they have the dinner, they sit down and do whatever they need to do, and they forget that the kid's there.
Right.
We need to be, as parents, to be so aware of what our children are feeling and saying,
Mhm.
because that's going to help us stop any other actions.
Right. Right.
We need to be there for our kids.
Exactly.
Now, I never had any kids myself, so I can't be an expert on being a father,
Mhm.
but I've had 25 international exchange students.
Oh yeah. Tell us a little bit about that. Must have been a hell of an experience, man. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, I'm telling you, Martin, it has kept me young. Because
Wow.
every year for over 16 years, we have
Mhm.
brought in teenagers into our house.
Mhm.
So every year I became a father to a new teenager.
Wow.
Now, I'll tell you a funny story about that. The very first one we had, which was many moons ago, I was doing the laundry one day and her underwear was in the laundry and I pulled it out and it looked like a slingshot. And I said to myself, what the hell is this? And I called my wife and I said, we got a problem with this child. She's wearing slingshots for underwear. And my wife explained to me what it was.
Mhm.
And that young girl and I was not, I have to tell you, I was not a good host father. I really wasn't. I
Mhm.
had no idea how to raise a teenager.
Right.
Here comes this teenage girl from Germany into my house, who I now call my firstborn.
Right.
And she became so close to my wife and I that she tells everybody, and it's been told to me by other people who have heard her say it, that
Mhm.
she's where she is in this world because of my wife and I, because of the years she spent with us.
Right.
She is right now an associate professor in logistics at a university in the Netherlands.
Wow.
She got her PhD.
Wow. Are you kidding?
No, and we basically set it up. That was our first girl. Then we had after that we had two girls. Then we had two guys. Then we
Mhm.
had a couple of guys and girls at one time.
Mhm.
We just, to me, it has been just the most magnificent way of me learning.
Wow.
It's amazing how much a teenager can teach
Oh
you.
yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I mean, I have two granddaughters in the islands, one 6 and one 12, and I am learning so much from them. I mean,
Sure.
the 6-year-old, is like light years of where I was at 6 years old because of the world we live in now. You know, she researches online. She knows how to go to YouTube. She says, Grandpa, I love your videos. Grandpa, I love you. Want to interview me one of these days? I said, sure, honey, sure. I mean, what 6-year-old talks like that kind of way, you know? I mean,
Well, it's
but
important. Go
let,
ahead. I'm sorry.
let me give you something funny about her. My wife was in Barbados a year ago, right, before COVID. And she always takes my wife's phone and plays games on it, and it runs the battery down. So my wife put a lock on the phone, right? So a couple of days later, she comes back and she sees her with her phone and the child with the phone in her hand, and she says, "I locked the phone. How did you get in?" She says, "Grandma," and she looked across the room and saw the how she locked the phone. I just, I mean, come on, man. Across the room, she looked at how the hands went, and she probably tried a few the different number schemes, and she got it and she memorized it. And I mean, that's the kids we have today.
It's amazing. I've worked with a lot of kids in different ways. For being a host father, but I also I love reading to children.
Right.
I do that. I haven't been able to get it done since COVID because the libraries haven't let us back in.
Right.
But I enjoy reading to children, and I just got such a love for the young people we have in this world today. The marchers that were out there for the Black Lives Matter. I mean, these people are really, this is the future of our world, these people.
Yes, yes.
And I'm very happy to see it because I think we've got tremendous young people in this world.
Yes. And regardless of color, they are dedicated to a cause. I mean, black, white, green, blue, they don't care. If they believe in something, they believe in it with their hearts, wholeheartedly.
And this is this is the kind of thing I was trying to say before. You got to be caring about people.
Yes.
You got to care about people. You got to, people sometimes say that I'm too pushy when I get involved with caring about people, but I don't care. I don't care what people say about it.
No.
I do what I think is important, and that to me is important. There's not a child in this world that I won't give a chance to.
Right.
Now, sometimes I've been disappointed. Yeah, I'm not going to kid you. It happens. But most of the time, you give a child a chance to grow and to expand and to develop the knowledge that they need when they're adults.
Right.
They're going to turn out to be hell of a great adult.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you have the perfect scenario with your exchange students, how you can give value to them to raise their, I mean, I know every one of them probably is happy that the time they spend with you.
Oh, I'm sure we've had a few ones that weren't great. I will admit to you, not every one of the 25 kids was perfect.
Right.
But I'll tell you, just to give you an example, we had one girl. Her name was was Maria, and she was from Western Germany, the old Western Germany.
Right.
And she came over, and we just realized it was something different about her. Couldn't put our finger on it at first, but my wife and I talked about it and realized that this young lady was gay. She wasn't she chose to be gay.
Right.
She just didn't understand it herself. But we let it ride. She came back to visit. Many of my kids have come back to visit, which is a joy. But she came back to visit one day, and I had said to her, I said, "How's your love life? Just kidding around."
Yeah.
She says, "I got something to tell you." I said, "What's that?" She says, "I'm gay." I said, "Well, Alex and I knew that about you when you lived with us." "How'd you know?" I said, "Because we listened to you. We heard everything you had to say. We didn't discount anything, and it came out in your conversations." And I have had kids that come to us. We have had kids who came to us because they had to get away from home. We had one girl whose mother was a drunk.
Right.
And spent a year with us. And when I have to tell you, the toughest time of the year when we had those kids, when we had to say goodbye.
Wow.
Because the tears just flowed from me and my wife and the kids. It's just
you get so attached to them. You get so attached to them. You get so attached to them.
Oh, they're my kids. They're all my kids. And some of them but we've got doctors, we've got lawyers, we've got business people, we've got all what you can think of that has come. They have really made good of themselves.
Right.
And I like to feel that we were part of that because we listened to them.
Right.
We never preached to them.
Right.
I tell parents all the time, don't preach to your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to make the kids into something that you're not.
Mm-hmm.
You give them the chance to choose what they want to do with their life, and then you support them to get there.
Right.
As long as it's not hurtful to anybody else,
Mm-hmm.
as long as it's not illegal,
Right. Right.
you support them to get to where they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell you, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking more than I usually talk.
I know, no problem. Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, I had the same problem.
Mm-hmm.
My father wanted me to be a lawyer.
Right.
And I didn't want to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a comic. But I listened to him, and he paid for my way to go to the University of Miami. And I was there. I was the first one in my family to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
And after 2 years, I was the first one in my family to fail out of college. Because I didn't want to be a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
I had no desire in that.
None.
And I told him that, and he was very hurt. He was hurt. He decided that's what's wrong with my son. He doesn't want to be a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to be a comic. Who wants to be a comic? And then I left my house at the age of 21,
Mm-hmm.
and I took off to New York City, where I tried to become a comic.
Yeah.
But you know, I had an opportunity to do it at a comedy club open mic a couple of years ago now. You were there.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Mm-hmm. That was fun.
And I was funny.
Yeah.
I was really, I thought I lost it, but I didn't lose it.
No.
You know, the only difference between me and the comics today is I don't cuss.
Right, right.
I don't do those kind of things.
Yeah.
But that same feeling that I got of not being okay. Here's my father, who I love dearly,
right.
telling me that I wasn't okay.
Wow.
And you know, he never ever saw me act, or never ever saw my comedy act, never ever saw me on stage.
Right.
Because he chose not to.
Right, right.
So there's a way of not feeling okay.
Right. So you think that stemmed from your relationship with your father, was the catalyst that when you're at 32 that caused you?
Yes, it's all part of it. It's
right.
all part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what I'm saying. People don't choose to wake up that morning and say, this morning I'm going to kill myself.
Right, right.
It's not done that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that they contemplate over a period of time, and all of the actions that have happened in that person's life
right.
add up to that moment.
To that moment. Wow, wow, wow.
All of it. So that's why we say to parents, and, you know, and if I'm doing a workshop with parents, I say to them that it's now you have to start understanding and living with your child, not living with your child as a dependent of yours, but living with a child as a human being.
Right.
Giving that child an opportunity to express themselves and giving you the opportunity to support what they want in life.
Right.
I've asked parents, many parents, and I say, how many of you have actually asked your child, I don't care how old, what would you like to be when you grow up?
Right.
And if they say, well, I'd like to be X, and you think that's so funny and you laugh at them, that laughing at them just hurt them. You don't realize it, but it hurt them. And they're going to remember that.
Right.
One of the things that you don't ever forget are feelings. Once a feeling has been established within you, you know what that feels like.
Right.
And when somebody says to you, you can't do, you can't be, you can't have, whatever it is in your life you want, you have just put a negative feeling in that child.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I know I've been talking so much.
But I enjoy your journey. I enjoy your journey, because I mean, being 77 now, you know how many summers that you've had that have been good, Like a friend of mine says to me, he looks at life in terms of how many summers he has left. So he says, man, you think I only got like 10 summers left. I only got like 20 summers left. So, we look at life as how many summers have you enjoyed? You've enjoyed 77 summers. That's a lot of summers, buddy. And that's a lot
Oh,
of
I've got,
wisdom.
and I have to tell you, I can go back on my life and I can actually say
Hmm.
I wouldn't have changed anything
Right, exactly.
because everything that happened in my life,
Hmm.
remember, I'm on my fourth marriage,
Right,
and my first three taught me a lot about marriage.
right, right.
So the fourth one has been now 22 years we've been together, and it's a good marriage, an exciting marriage.
Good, good. Hmm.
But
Yeah,
but everything that's happened in my life gave me a lesson.
right.
And this is what we have to do as a world, as a community of people.
Hmm.
Learn every minute of our
Oh,
day.
that's right.
You can't quit learning,
No. And
but
most of all,
you need the support of the people who truly love you.
right. And most of all, I always say give gratitude. We don't live in
Yes.
gratitude enough. You know, we don't
Oh,
live
it's
in enough.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Everybody has their own conception of God, but when I talk to God every once in a while, I just thank Him for every day I've had.
Yeah.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Thank Him for every day. Would I
Yeah.
change anything? No,
No, very little.
no. I mean, wouldn't have married my first wife. I
Who
mean,
knows?
but who knows?
You
None of
can't go
these
back.
things have,
You can't
you
go
know.
back. You can't go back.
No, and you don't want to go back. I look forward. I
No.
look forward every day.
And like I
I
said,
look
every day is
forward
a
on.
blessing. Every day is a blessing. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is all we have. This
That's
moment,
it.
you know?
That's it.
Yeah.
There's an old saying I heard many years ago. It says, "You're born and you die,
Mm-hmm.
and you spend a little time in between."
That's called the dash. You ever see I
Yeah.
gave a speech that way, the dash, the day you were born and the day you die. What is your dash? How are you spending your dash? Right?
That's exactly right.
And yeah, I love that. This is amazing. Yeah, how you spend your dash. I spend my dash in a lot of good ways. I'm not a perfect man. None of us are perfect. But I
Now,
try to be the best I can be. I try to lift people up. I just spoke to an attorney, big time attorney, and the same thing. She has a big law firm, but her mission is to give value to her clients. She says, I want to make money, but sometimes like in COVID, right? She says, I cut my fees by 30% to help people in struggling who are looking at eviction. And I cut my fees for them to help them because it's none of their fault. People are being trying to be evicted right now because of COVID. They lost both husband and wife lost their jobs. They have no income. The government is not stepping in to help them. It's not their fault. It's a mess. So she's trying to give value to clients that come to her with small businesses. I mean, it was an amazing story how to help people with COVID, what to do and what not to do. I mean, it is a quagmire out there, buddy. It's a quagmire out there. So if all of us do our own, give a little bit of value, help somebody along the way, man, it would be a lot, life would be a lot better. And
well,
love is the answer.
that's why I'm a member of Toastmasters.
Right.
I don't need Toastmasters to help me learn to speak,
No, no, no. Yeah.
but I'm there to help those other people who are just coming aboard,
Right.
who have that fear of speaking, to
Hmm.
help them overcome that.
Right.
And
Exactly.
you see how I am with Hunter when
Oh
he
yeah.
comes on.
Oh, I love that kid, man. He is such an inspiration.
Yeah,
How many 19-year-olds you see come join Toastmasters willingly?
not many. No,
You know.
no, but I tell you something. One of the things I do want to do with Toastmasters, and maybe we can talk about this in the
Hmm.
future, you and I, is
Sure.
I want to get it back into the schools when the schools get opened
Yes.
up.
Yes, definitely. The youngsters. Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
because they're the ones that are going to be talking in the future,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
most of them right now they're afraid of standing up in front of
Yeah.
their own
Yeah.
class.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we can start Toastmasters in some of the schools, that'll be my next personal
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah. I'll entertain you with that definitely. But it's something you have to give back.
Yeah.
Unselfishly. It's not monetary, it's just giving back unselfishly to life. Like Zig Ziglar says, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. And that's such a true story, you know?
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so
But you know, the key to a lot of this whole thing is when we look at somebody and we say to ourselves, gee, I don't like that person. And you have no idea why
None.
or anything.
None.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't give that person a chance to present what they are. Now, after they present what they are, you might not like what they're doing.
Yeah,
but they're a person.
They're human beings. Well, you hear in a lot of my speeches, I always say that I've got to a point, you know, I mean, that it doesn't matter whether you like me or not. That's not my problem. That's your problem. You know, and if everybody's afraid of what people will say, what people will think. When I started this podcast, right? You know, if you look at all my podcasts from the very beginning up to now, you see a progression, how I've got better. I didn't care. I knew I wasn't going to be perfect. The lighting wasn't going to be perfect. You know, the background wasn't going to be perfect. I experimented with different things. But you know what? Like Steve Harvey says, I jumped. I wanted to do it. I committed. As I've committed, I have got better and better. And it's not, you know, it's not because I'm praising myself, because I work at it. You know, I review what I do. I reevaluate my interviews. I say, well, next time I can do that. You know how my background used to be a lot different. I'd wear different shirts and different things. I've corrected all of that. You know, it's still not perfect where it is when we, but you know, it's a work in progress, because I want to give value. I want to give value to people, to the world. I want people to hear what you have to say about suicide. That maybe just by listening to you, somebody will say, man, you know what? Wow. You know, maybe somebody, I need to talk to somebody. And that would stop somebody along the way. Do you know that there's a big incidence of suicide in police officers?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that. I was reading up on that the other day. I saw that in police officers, there's a big alcoholism and suicide.
And firemen.
Firemen, yes. You know, it's amazing, man. You know, how many these first responders, because they see so much trauma, you know, and they
but
take
how many times, Martin, do people go down the street and see a police officer or a fireman or an EMT or a soldier and just say thank you?
Exactly. They don't.
That is the kind of positive okayness that you're giving somebody. Just the thank you.
Yeah, because I mean, I have a cousin of mine in Atlanta. She's a top nurse, and I admire that girl so much. She went to New York when New York was blazing with COVID to help the other nurses as a relief nurse. She put herself in jeopardy to help her fellow nurses. I mean, that's the kind of thing that is unselfish, you know, unselfish. And even now, again, with COVID ramping up and everything, you know, people are these first responders, man, they have done I mean, I take my hat off to them, because this is real. I mean, sure, they can have all the conspiracy theories about COVID, but COVID is real. You know, it is real. It's not, I mean, sure, they may have whatever you want to say on it, but you can see, when you see a hospital fill and have no more beds, there's a problem.
Oh, yeah.
There's a problem, you know? So, but, you know, I am so happy that you took the time to come and tell us a little bit. Well, we talked a little bit about everything, but the core of our conversation was, if people are contemplating suicide, there is help.
There is help. There is help.
So you would say the first thing is talk to somebody, anybody, you know?
Just matter of fact, you can call 211 here in Tampa.
Right. Okay.
In the Tampa area, 211 will take you to the crisis center helpline.
Right. Right.
And there's people to talk to there.
So 211, wonderful, wonderful.
211.
Man, that is such a help, and I hope that touches somebody. It reaches out there, and somebody hears it, and then they will respond, and a life will be saved.
That's why I do it, Martin. And people, as I say, people say to me, "Aren't you ashamed that you tried that?"
No.
I said, "No, it's not ashamed.
No.
I know what the reason was, and it wasn't shame.
No.
No, and I'm not ashamed to admit to it."
No, I mean, that's what you were 77. I was 30. Said that's 42, 45 years ago. But
it's a lot of years ago.
It still resonates in your mind, you know, and you know why you tried it, because you thought nobody cared.
That's it.
And you know, and that's still think how things are. People they feel hopeless, you know. Wow. I mean, I've never contemplated it. I've never even thought it through. But I'm not everybody. Everybody's different, you know.
Yes.
But if that can reach somebody, can touch somebody's heart, or somebody knows somebody that can do it, 211 that's it right there. Talk to somebody, because you matter. Every human being matters. What was the name of that book that you referenced again?
I'm okay, you're okay.
I'm okay, you okay. Do you remember the author?
Thomas Harris, huh?
Do you remember the author?
Thomas Harris.
Thomas Harris. I'm okay, you okay.
Yes.
I must look it up. I'm okay. That's a wonderful book to hear, definitely. Well, Jay, it's such a pleasure, man.
I thank you, my friend. And I say my friend because I'm really happy that I have a friend like you.
Oh,
and when this is all over, COVID is all over, we're going to get together with our wives and have a nice evening.
Most definitely, most definitely. It's been a pleasure. I mean, Toastmasters has really brought us together. I love Toastmasters. You love Toastmasters because it's about giving back. I can walk away now because I got my DTM, but that's not who I am.
I know that.
No, I'll always be there. I may not be president, but I'll always be there to help, to lift other people up, to mentor somebody else, whatever it takes, because it's been one of the joys of my life,
Yeah. And we got some nice members this year. We really do.
Yeah, I think we're going to be good. I just did our, with our area director, I just did our, what do you call it? There's a 21-page report that I had to do.
The plan.
Yeah, the yearly plan. Forget the name that they call it. I just did. Yeah. It's the most boring thing, man.
I didn't do it when I was president. I just never did it.
It's called a success plan. Success plan. It's the most boring 21 pages online, but I did it. And so my target my target for the club is 15 members.
That's fine. That's perfect.
Which is not too high, not low. So we cross that threshold. And I think we can get there. So if we get the few people we have on now, we'd be like 10, 11, then we almost get in there, So
you gave it away last night when you said that who was going to be the next president.
Is it Bao? We're looking at Bao, right?
Yeah, and I agree with you.
Yes. He has come such a long way.
Yeah, he really is a fine young man.
He's a good
fine young man.
And again, we would support him. We would all support him.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
This is part of my world.
That's it, buddy. I love you for it. I love who you are, and I mean, you're a real friend. And thank you for introducing me at the DTM induction ceremony. You did a bang up job. I love the way you give me some props to the think tank. I love that.
I wanted to make sure I had the facts right anyway.
Right, you're a sneaky devil. You got it. My wife said he's a little sneaky devil, didn't he? But Jay, it's always a pleasure, man. I'll see you in a couple of weeks again online on a Toastmasters meeting. When the Wesley Chapel Speaks meets every first and third Mondays. If anybody is interested, they can always PM me. Send me a link, send me an email, and I'll send you guys the Zoom link. But again, thank you for being in the think tank today. You take care of yourself. Stay away from people with COVID. And I know you say you don't interact with anybody but your wife.
I don't, because I have diabetes and I have COPD with emphysema and I have all these things. No, I don't want to see COVID.
You don't want to see nobody, exactly. So we're going to keep you away from it. We're going to stay on Zoom. We're going to Zoom it for a while, right?
You got it.
All right, my friend.
Become an expert on Zoom.
There you go. Say hi to the wife for me. And,
I will.
And you take care of yourself, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Jay.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it, Martin.
Good, buddy. Thanks for being in the think tank.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The world as we know it has changed forever. We have to unite more than ever. It has never been easier to connect. Social media is the great equalizer. As we continue to learn from each other, it allows us to challenge our beliefs